Alrighty, my friends, we're coming up on November 5th. Actually, it's 1:15 a.m. local on the 5th of November. Just about ready to roll on our way to Chillicothe to make our delivery. I'm really happy I stopped here now because I was able to get my hair cut yesterday here at the Walmart behind me, and then while I was there I also got a bigger SD card for my dash cam, so don't have to worry about losing data, you know, for any of my recordings now. I could, during the time off, I actually had over 13 hours worth of data on the new dash, on the new SD card. So, very pleased with that. Now I don't have to worry about having to hit the button all the time to retain any of the data. So we're good there, just perfect. I need 3 lanes over here to work with because my tandems are, they barely cleared the curb right there. They haven't never touched it. Not sure if it was the U-turn or the left turn I need. Just in case, I'm going to go this way, though. Thought it might have been the U-turn, but it didn't say that it was a U-turn. Depending on where my tandems are set, it could be better that I go that I make the left anyway, because when you use those U-turn style underpass things there, like this one has here, which you'll see a lot of in Texas, it's better to go that way if your tandems are forward, but if you have them all the way back or pretty far back, not such a great idea. There's just not, a lot of them, there isn't enough room to work with. When I was a trainer, I had a trainee attempt to use one of those U-turn style, U-turn ramps, whatever, in Amarillo, Texas, and he would, I had to actually stop him because he didn't pay, he wasn't paying enough attention to the tandems, but the tandems were all the way, were pretty far back too. That's just where we needed them for balancing. Thankfully he stopped, and then I showed him, look, like, we're not going to make this turn. He didn't even swing it as wide as he could too. Yeah, he swung as wide as he possibly could, but even then it wasn't enough. Locally, so I'm taking 54 over to highway to Interstate 30. Damn it! I thought I had cruise control arm. Apparently not. Don't really need to make a fuel stop, or at least I shouldn't. But may get 50 gallons of fuel at the, there's a pilot north of Kansas City. Usually has better prices as far as Flying J and pilot locations are concerned. I might go ahead and stop there and put like 50 gallons in or something. I have just over half a tank of fuel right now though, and it's not even a 300-mile drive from here to Chillicothe, so I don't think I really need to stop for fuel, but in fact I might just go ahead and wait. I like to make deliveries with full tank of reefer fuel at the very least. That way, if I have a drop and hook delivery, or maybe I have to deadhead to a place after delivery where it's not practical to get, to stop at a pilot or Flying J or whatever where I'm supposed to be filling it at, or filling the reefer unit at least. I'd rather have already taken care of that before making just before making the delivery, so that I always have at least 3/4 fuel by the time I'm ready for my next pickup. Later this morning I will probably ask about possibly see if I can get a reload going toward Laredo or something, because I have some stuff belonging to a former trainee of mine that I'd like to get to him. He lives in Leander, Texas. He was actually in one or two of at least a couple of the videos I can think of that I've done previously, back when I was an OTR trainer. Now I'm curious if this area is this 54 and 35 interchange is still being worked. Last few times I came through here, I had the interchange for I-35 was closed, and it looks like I don't see anything saying that it's closed this time, but I mean it's only, it's 135, but prior though, previous times I've come through here though, I had to exit the freeway right in that same ballpark of where the 35 is, and basically bypass it on, go along the service road alongside the eastbound side, over to the little turnpike, whatever, over on the other side of town, and then go up and then run into 35 up there on the north end. I had seven minutes left on my 70-hour clock when I shut down yesterday, and I got, I think, 8.5 or so back today, as of about an hour and a half ago. I don't have any problem with waiting till maybe if I make delivery, then maybe get a 10-hour break before reloading. That way, at least have some recaps that I can work with, and not have to sit around waiting for my recaps to come in before I can keep moving. here, I-35, use Highway 96. Yeah, so it looks like it's still under construction, whatever's going on. Cases where I say it's the problem with following GPS. GPSs are not necessarily going to know that this interchange here is closed for construction. Reading the signs will tell you that, and reading the signs will also tell you the preferred way for you to go when that is the case. You're a new driver, I'm not a fan of new drivers using GPS at all. I don't think it should be happening whatsoever. You got to learn how to navigate the normal way. And keep in mind, GPS that relies on a connection to at least 3 satellites up in space to you even be able to get where your current position is. Now, if you're using a phone, if it doesn't have a satellite connection, it'll often use it'll basically try to triangulate where you are based on your on what cell sites you're connected to, or which ones are pinging you off of whatever. But it's a broader area that it'll guess that you're in. I mean, you can be within several mile radius if it's going by the cellular data. GPS data, the more satellites you're hooked up to, the more precise your location can be. But you can still be about 10 feet off, even with a connection to all of them. What's this guy doing? I guess he didn't catch where it was a 40 zone. That's a cop, that's why. Maybe he's a little distracted, but I got a 40 sign right here in front of me, so I don't give a shit. I saw 40 right before I got detoured, so he's still falling. Yeah, I'm still pulling on him. Maybe he's just checking this the local area here. I don't know. If I recall, I need to be in the left lane anyway to get onto Highway 96. That'll go to the north. And if I recall, I have to get off at an exit on 96 onto a surface street. If I remember right, make a right turn to a street that dumps beyond that puts me on I-35. See, my first time coming through here while this was going on, I mean, my GPS or my Google Maps actually tried to tell me to go to stay on 54/400 all the way up to 35, but because I didn't know that all this stuff was going on here. Was about to make a right turn up back there. Yeah, I've been several times. I mean, plenty of times I've come across detours, and looks like the road in front of me is closed, but no, it curves back onto the highway here. I got an 810 to work with on my 70 right now, from what my Qualcomm is telling me. The other thing about, if you're a newer driver, you need to learn the roads. That's the other problem with GPS. Also, when you're relying on GPS, I think people tend to be more prone to not paying enough attention to the signs, and that's a very important thing to be doing when you're driving a truck. There's so many signs here that apply specifically to us and not regular, not the non-CMV drivers. And then one of the very common mistakes that new drivers make is bypassing way stations because they're not paying attention to the signs and not having any idea that they're passing by a way station. And all it takes is looking at a damn sign to see that you're passing by one. And so that tells you just how, I mean, I know when I was with England, that was the most common reason, or the most common cause of a higher CSA score for them was drivers bypassing way stations. Also, or what we also refer to as chicken coops on the radio. Exit right here, and I see, if I remember right, make a right turn. Yeah, and I think that was what we just crossed over as well. So make a right turn here, and then we get on. I'll go through the. Go through the toll booth area, since this is a turnpike here. making a right turn, a very common mistake. Look both ways. Look every direction possible, actually. Just because the traffic might be coming from the left doesn't mean that you don't need to look to the right. How do you know there's not a pedestrian or bicyclist over there coming from your right? Or in other situations, how do you know how do you know that it's not actually the traffic to the right in front of you making a left turn that has the right of way and not the traffic to your left? Way too many times I see people make that same mistake, especially the four-wheelers, but I do see plenty of fellow truckers do the same thing. They look only to the left when they're at the light, and as soon as they see an opening to the from the left, they start pulling out into the intersection and have no idea that they're pulling into that they're probably pulling into traffic that is across the street from them and has the right of way, or maybe a pedestrian or bicyclist or somebody is coming from the right side. Yeah, bicyclists are supposed to ride with the flow of traffic, go the same direction that traffic's going, but come on, let's be real here. How often do we really see that happen? A pretty good number of bicyclists do ride correctly, but quite a few will ride the wrong direction. Honestly, I can't say I blame bicyclists for riding the wrong direction from my experiences. Because for one, you can't tell if there's unless you have like mirrors on your, if you're wearing a helmet or whatever, and mirrors, you have no idea what's coming up behind you, and you have no idea if the person behind you is distracted driving, drunk, or whatever, or maybe or a little bit out of control, whatever, and it's going to run you over. And I've also had at least one time when I was riding a bike and when I was in town, just riding around town, whatever, and some stupid idiots decided they'd have some fun. Whether I don't know if they were drunk or what, but decided they'd have some fun and try to grab me as they were passing by, and basically intentionally try to make me crash. Totally inappropriate behavior by them, but how am I supposed to know that's getting ready to happen? Thankfully, that person, the people in that car missed me by just a few inches, but I know I'm not the only one that happens to either. I'll be staying on I-35 all the way through Kansas City and continuing up to US 36, which is in between Kansas City and the Iowa border, and heading across it. It should be, I don't know, maybe about a half-hour drive, or a little bit more, a little bit longer than a half-hour drive from Kansas City to US 36. 36 is where one of the Walmart DCs that it's not unusual for us to deliver to Olathe, Missouri. Yeah, that's right where, it's actually where, I think, it might actually be more than that from Kansas City to 36 now that I'm thinking about it. Because Moberly is off of right where US 63 and US 24 meet up. And it's about a 40-mile drive north of I-70 on I-63, on US 63, I mean. 24 starts out, basically goes through right by the Kansas City area, and then kind of drifts its way upward toward where it runs into 63 there in Moberly. But Moberly is south of US 36, so, and I can't remember how many miles that is. It's not that far. I recall, like 10 to 15 miles, something like that. It's been a bit though since I've gone that particular route. So I'd have to say it's probably a better part of an hour drive north of Kansas City then. Hopefully I'll get a more accurate timestamp too. It'll probably have the wrong date though. You've probably been noticing if you watch my other videos that there've been a lot of times where I've had the wrong timestamp on there, or sometimes even gets frozen on a certain time. Not sure what's causing that. I think I need to do an update to my dash cam, or maybe update its firmware or something. I don't recall having that problem before. It's supposed to be getting the data directly off of the GPS, the GPSs itself, but it doesn't seem to be doing that. And to make it worse, it doesn't seem to be getting the GPS data either, because it's supposed to be showing my lat long coordinates and my speed information as well on the recordings, but a good amount of the clips I've been noticing, it does not have any kind of GPS data included in there. This is too bright. Let's see what my buddy Sean is doing. Stop at this service area, give me something to drink. Just getting some fuel on here. talked about the issue of flashing your brights at drivers to let them know they can come over on one of my other blog posts. And I also mentioned how I talked about how you don't, I say don't do that. Either don't do anything at all or turn your headlights off. Don't shine your brights at night. Well, when I'm the guy passing the other truck and the other truck does that, like this Navajo driver just did, I do not ever acknowledge them. I will not ever give them any kind of thank you flash by markers to let them know that, to thank them, whatever. There is no thanks there. Why would I, why would I thank the asshole who's flashing their brights at me? Now, a lot of times they seem to do it right at the moment I'm trying to look in my mirror to see how clear I am. I know when I'm clear. I know when I shouldn't be coming back over. Now this guy's case here, he flashes brights before it got to a point where I really thought I should have been moving over yet. Like I say, if I don't see two headlights, I don't move over. That's just the way it is. I didn't even see two headlights by the time he was flashing his brights at me. People, this is where paying attention to signs comes into play again. We're a mile away. We're getting to where basically I-35 and is that 135 split? I want to say 135 spurs off from here up to 335. Okay, up to Topeka. Yeah, been kind of mixed up on where I'm at, but. In order to stay on 35 to go up toward Kansas City, you have to actually get off the freeway here, go through a toll booth, and then you'll end up on a non-toll area of 35. We're in Emporia, Kansas right now. There's a Flying J right here. GPS will probably give you this direction also, but I say paying attention to the signs is a much more effective way to make sure you're going the right way. Sometimes GPS data is obsolete. It basically doesn't have the most current information to work with. I know that is because I have prior experience volunteering as a map editor on both Waze and on Google Maps, so I know what it takes to update the maps on there. On Waze in particular, you can actually use a trace tool as a driver to show that the road has been, or that, let's say if there's a detour or whatever, or maybe the road got realigned or something, there's a trace tool you can actually use to show that, but it still has to go through an approval process by the map editors themselves. So I would go onto the map editor tool and I'd actually see the. I could maybe set my filter to show that kind of thing, and I could we could either redraw the lines so that the road actually follows the route that the driver's trace route did, or maybe verify that they actually did do an actual documented route, path. A good example of this was on, let's see, when I was still in the Air Force, actually, when a full-time reservist, actually, working at March Air Force Base. I would always commute through Riverside. Well, 215 freeway, or Interstate 215, just north of the, a couple exits north of the, where it runs into Highway 60. Iowa Street, or Iowa Avenue. There's an exit there. They completely realigned redid the interchange there. And remember when it finally opened up and we were able to start using it again, I actually used the trace tool on it myself, and as I drove on it on my way home from work, and so on the map editor we could actually see exactly where the basically rebuilt road is actually at, because they completely changed the way the on-ramp set up, on-ramp and off-ramp there were set up. But it doesn't always get, whoever edits maps on their, for one, there's an approval process, not to mention it does, the person who edits it won't always get to it the same day that the information is put in there. Sometimes it takes a bit of time for someone to either notice it or actually get to it, because, everyone on there it's volunteering, it's crowdsourcing. And they have different tiers of crowdsource levels too. So you'll have like a level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 editor on Waze. And at each level you have different capabilities of how big an area you're around, places you've personally been to, that you're allowed to do edits on, or certain types of roads maybe. So like low level editors like 1 or 2, they're not allowed to do anything with interstate roads. It takes a level, I want to say a level 5 or 6 editor to update those. So we could, in that case, the lower level editor would have to contact the higher level editor who's responsible for that particular region, and ask them for help, either if they can do it for them or unlock it for them to do. And then once they get through, sometimes the higher level editor will unlock it and let the lower level person do it, do the edits, and then when the lower level editor is done doing the edits, the higher level person will verify that the edits are done right, or done well, whatever, and then lock it. But there's, as I said, there's a whole process for that, and even when you have crowdsourced information like that, where it gets updated pretty fast, it's not always the case. Now just imagine if you're using a GPS device, like a standalone unit, that may not be so easy to update. You could be working with even more outdated information then. So that's another reason why I say, there is no good substitute for just paying attention to the signs on the roads. So you never know when something's going to change. You never know when there might be a temporary closure or something. Got out of the Wichita area just in time to miss, or not just in time, but probably a few hours early to avoid any of the really strong rain that's in the area that I was in on the previous lake. Over by like Hutchinson, Kansas. There's a big storm system right now, and it's coming across all the way from down here in Kansas to up in Nebraska and Iowa, it looks like. And I've been getting reports from friends and other sources that there's a 50 to 60% chance of tornado activity in this weather system here. So I'm going northeasterly direction. I'm actually getting out in front of the leading edge of the storm. Actually getting a little bit of water still on rain still on my windshield. I was starting to get hit by the leading edge of it, the really light stuff, but the more I go northeast, the more I'm kind of getting out a little bit further ahead of it. But there is according to the radar, there is a section of it that, like a small area of the leading edge, I might still hit again up here as I get more up toward Kansas City, I think. This storm going all the way up to, covering up a pretty good chunk of, at least it goes all the way, like, Nebraska and Iowa up toward the Dakotas and all that. And I don't think I'm gonna miss it completely. It's when I get through unloading, I'd say there's a pretty damn good chance I'll get hit by a fair amount of it still. But it looked like the strongest stuff was on the south end of the system, which is down by the Hutchinson, Kansas area right at the moment. Doesn't appear to be any tornado watch or warning alerts in effect right now in that area, but it does look like they're getting some pretty strong rain at least. Marker should be roughly 50 miles or so from Kansas City at this point. Ottawa, Kansas. There's Love's over here. Four-wheeler passing me right now. They were here in the number 2 lane originally, and then I believe they recognized that I was catching up to YRC and that I was probably going to want to over. So they moved over to the number 1 lane before I ever even signaled any intent to move over myself. Need a lot more drivers like that. Coming up on about 20 miles out from downtown Kansas City now. helpful information for some of you who don't already know about this. So I'm coming up on the interchange for I-35 and I-435. The I-35 is going to take me right through the downtown Kansas City area or nearby it. I-435 tells you that it's part of the I-35 corridor, and because it's a even numbered 100, so it's like let's say if it's 235, 435, 635, 835 kind of thing. Anytime it's a 100 series interstate, and the first number is first digit is an even number, that normally identifies that it's a half or full loop around a particular area. So in this case, 435, say if you don't want to go through the downtown area and you want to bypass it, you can actually take 435. In a lot of cases, you can go any direction. It doesn't matter if you go north or, I mean, like, say the east side or the west side of it, if there were both sides. Yeah, either way, like normally these though, there'll be like two terminal points. You know, like say on 435, there'd be like a south end and a north end. And in that case, normally they would both terminate at I-35. One on the south end of the city and one on the north end of the city somewhere, or not necessarily at the end of the city, but could be north or south, north end or south of the metro area or something. It's meant to help keep you away from all the higher traffic areas that are down, like the downtown area. It's just after 4:15 in the morning here right now on Monday morning, so I don't anticipate running into any real traffic issues going through downtown at this hour. I mean, I might start seeing some traffic, but it looks pretty damn light still, so I don't think I'm going to worry about that. So, yeah, I'm going to just take the more direct route through the city. But at certain times of day, like if it's more in the commute hours and the traffic's heavier, I would absolutely be taking 435 around and not dealing with downtown or more inner city traffic. And speaking of with inner city traffic, that's another thing I like about driving in the middle of the night. It's more often than not I have like these really nice light traffic conditions like right now to deal with. It's like this, I got a truck in front of me, this white Toyota, I think it's a Toyota, just passed me up. The next vehicle behind me is more than a quarter mile behind me. I see another big truck and some cars back there. This is nice. I don't have to worry about having encounters with other cars, or not nearly as much. Less traffic to deal with. I also love the fact that anytime I go to a truck stop, let's say when I'm ready to get off the road and park it, pretty much a guarantee I'm going to find plenty of spots. Usually if I stay on the road till at least 4 a.m., I can usually be sure that I'll find at least a couple of spots open at most any truck stop by then. A lot of early bird, what we call solar powered drivers tend to start getting out on the road around 4 a.m. Or at least a few of them, and then you really start seeing a bigger group of them start getting on the road around 5, 6, 7 in the morning. I like being out on the road when all those guys are sleeping, and then sleeping when they're all out on the road. And I have my whatever pick I want as far as spots are concerned a lot of times. I've got to get my speed back down a little more. Approaching downtown Kansas City area, just a couple miles up the road here. We just got into the Missouri side of town right now.
You got coffee, Travis? Yes, sir. I have the light store. Hang on.
Now, when you're in Kansas City, some of these interchanges, you're going to need to be in the left lane to be on the to get on or to get on or stay on whatever road you want to be on. See how this truck up here is in the far left lane? He's over there because he knows he needs to be there. When you get to the top of the hill, you'll see the signs here. So I think he's getting on 70, or no, he's staying on 35. So once this four-wheeler gets around me, I'm going to be doing the same thing. Speed limit drops pretty good down to 45. And we're passing just around the west end of the downtown skyline now. There's an area around here in town, downtown. You really want to be careful when you're with the truck. The left curve when you're going like westbound, I think I might have just passed it. But anyway, there have been cases where a truck comes up too fast on this curve and ends up overturning And when they overturn, they end up going over the side of the bridge. Now the rail that separates them from falling down and to the ground below. And and they end up going over the top of the rail and over the side of the bridge and end up plummeting to their deaths. And it's not like it's a huge drop, but it's enough where it'll kill you. I believe they call it suicide curve. So if you go too fast around that curve, it's like committing suicide. Wait for these four-wheelers to get by so I can move back over. Stay off my throttle just long enough to help so that guy can get by me first. Okay, I'm in a curve. I'm going to wait until I straighten out before I get back over to the far right lane. Front Street, there's a Flying J over here. Not the biggest fan of stopping there ever. A lot of panhandlers, lot lizards and stuff. Homeless people in the area. Actually, a couple years ago, my first year driving, there was there was actually an incident over here.
I've been working on these in this area for what? All summer. Well, I have to remember that stuff is closed through here. And run 36 and then come down.
Anyway, yeah, they're talking about the I-70 closures, but anyway, a couple years ago, what month was it? It was sometime in 2016, though. The driver over here at this Flying J pulled out of his spot and ended up running over and killing a homeless person who, for some strange reason, was apparently using his trailer as shelter, maybe from the weather or whatever. But I guess the guy was in the path of the tires and got ran over, and the driver had no idea. Why on earth someone would want to sleep there or whatever in front of the tires of a truck that you never know can move at any time? I don't know. You know, mental problems, drugs or alcohol, something. But anyway, I mean, just imagine being that driver, knowing that one stupid little mistake of not actually doing at least a walk around, if not a pre-trip, depending on what part of your shift you're on. Actually contributed to somebody else's death. I mean, the person who got killed is ultimately responsible for their own safety, but we still have a duty to do whatever we can to not be part of that. Past downtown, I've driven 180, or about 190 miles now. That's possibly a little bit more. So we're less than 100 miles away from Chillicothe now. I will be at this point looking for US 36, and we'll go east on 36 to get into Chillicothe. 20-mile marker. We got another way station coming up. ways to me. Here's the second one that tells me, gives me a signal whether to go into the station or. Okay, I got a bypass again, so we're good. I'm going to be getting off the freeway here in just a few miles to go ahead and get a little bit more fuel. I'm still doing fine. I got like 3/8, but I want to make sure I have enough. Probably don't even need to worry about it, but I want to make sure my reefer tank is filled up anyway, regardless. So, and I got time to kill, so. Be stopping at the Pilot, Kearney, Missouri, which is just a few miles north of here. Coming right up. See the sign for the Pilot on the other side of the freeway. Looks like it has a Taco Bell. If you're interested in whatever restaurants places have. Now, what is the story with some of these Taco Bells? I noticed. Like this is one of them where the company logo looks different than what I'm used to seeing. Yeah, I don't know if that's an older logo or if that's some new one that just hasn't shown up at other stores yet or what. But I think I remember first seeing that type of logo. Was it? I think when I was in the Walmart fleet and I would go up to Washington to deliver the Sam's Clubs up that way before they closed down. Yeah, there was one in Oregon that I would, there was a Love's in Oregon that I would stop at that has one, or there's one nearby. And, not on site at Love's, but in the immediate vicinity. And I saw that sign there and I'm wondering about that. Okay, swing wide. I want my tandem to stay in my lane as much as possible. Watch the head aboard. Make sure I don't hit the Jersey barrier over here on the right with it. And this Pilot has a funky entry, by the way. It's this first driveway here. I I know you're not supposed to come out of. Basically, when you're leaving this pilot, you have to go out onto the side street behind it and then come out where this traffic light's at. There's nothing here saying that I can't use this lane, this turn here though. But when you leave, there is a sign, from what I recall, saying you can only turn right, which means you cannot come this direction. I can see it right here in front of us. You'll probably get a better view of it when I leave. Even has a warning saying $500 fine if you get caught doing it. So I went past my lane and I'm coming back to it. I'm trying to get my trailer tires to line up with this lane first. Looks like we're good there. Yeah, my trailer is almost lined up just right with my tractor right now. Alright, we'll continue this in a minute, in a few, when as soon as I get through fueling, we'll finish our journey. Alright, my friends, we're ready to roll again. I ended up maxing out all my tanks because the price was pretty good here. It's $3.09 per gallon cash, but with my 15-cent discount, that puts it at $2.94 per gallon. So actually, I'm kind of glad I didn't try to refill it, put any fuel in at that service plaza. Plus, I needed to stop here for the reefer anyway. And adding to that, I ended up getting about $7 worth of rewards points on my pilot rewards card. So I get 2 points per gallon or basically double the points for using the My Pilot app to do my refuelings. And at the moment, they're also giving an extra, I think it was 2 or 3 times or whatever it was for the, I think for JCT drivers. For, I don't know, maybe it's for holidays or whatever. I have a clear behind me. So even if I pay a little more per gallon of Pilot and Flying J at the moment, it's kind of pays for itself with rewards points, because I can, because I usually save up those rewards points for bigger purchases, like say a headset for my wife, or if I have to replace something, or maybe I just don't feel like spending cash or whatever, or money I have in the bank or whatever on food sometimes. According to my trip meter, I've driven about 210, 215 miles. I believe I was about 285 to 290 out from the receiver when I was at the Walmart. So that should put us right in the area of about 70 right around 70 miles out from our receiver right now. I forget how far east of 35 Chillicothe is. I want to say it's in the ballpark of 20 miles or so. I could be wrong, but I believe it'll be just, okay, by the way, see how I turn when my tractor's facing the same direction as the lanes? When I did that, you see how my tractor was lined up perfectly with the lane to my right? That's a good way to practice your turns if you're new at driving a truck or want to start learning how to drive one. I came back, so I'm lined up with the lane to my right, and I just kept the steering in there that I already had and just came right back to my lane. When I got back over to this lane and started lining up with this lane, my tandems were right there waiting, right there in the right spot. They didn't go out into the next lane over, they didn't run over the island or anything. They were perfectly right where I wanted them to be. You gotta consider where your tandems are actually positioned for that too. Because if your tandems are further back, it's not going to turn as easily. It's damn light. Anyway, if your tandems are further back, they're not going to turn as readily. So you have to account for that. You need that extra space if your tandems are further back. You need like an extra 7 feet, which is about half a lane width. Or half a lane length, depending on which, basically which direction, or what side you're getting that 7 feet from. What is this? Roadkill. Alright, so exit 25 is where the pilot's at. And if I'm expecting it, probably be like 45-50 mile drive to get to US 36 and another 20 or 25, whatever it is. I don't even know if I have it right, but I don't, like I said, I don't use my GPS or Google Maps, whatever. I already know what highway I'm looking for. I don't remember the exit number for US 36. I'm just gonna keep paying attention to the signs and get off the freeway when I know I'm at the correct exit. But I expect that I'll find it within the next 45-50 miles, maybe even closer. Sign right here saying US 36 second right. Or I should say second exit. So it's been less than 30 miles since we got back on the road from getting fuel. Now, I got to thinking about that after talking in the last clip, and it makes sense because I said earlier that what is it? Olathe is 40 miles north of I-70, but it's south of 36, but not by a hell of a lot. So it makes sense that it's in this general area. So if we did just about 30 miles, just a little bit short of 30 miles to get from the Pilot in Kearney to US 36, and there should be another 40 or so across. Which also makes sense because if you were to take I-70 across to US 63, which is the other highway that goes up to Cloverleaf, it would have been, I think it's 63 runs into 70. It's kind of over by Columbia, which is roughly halfway between Kansas City and St. Louis. I want to say it's like hits at 127, 128, somewhere in that ballpark on I-70. Now, remember, Kansas City, you know, we're 35 and 70 run together. That's like single digit or so, yeah, exit numbers. Alright, same thing here. Putting my tractor in the next lane over and then coming back to it. My trailer tires track perfectly right around that white line over there on the right side of me. But anyway, yeah, it's so it's about a good 120 mile drive from Kansas City area to US 63. You're gonna change on me while I'm. Anyway. Caught in that little no man's land where I needed to skip shift, but then the truck kind of lost speed because I had to try to figure out which gear I wanted to actually try to go into. I was in 6th, or no, 7th, and I was about to shift into 5th, or 6th actually, and then all of a sudden I got down because my RPMs were already down enough where I would have just gone into 5th gear. It's what we call skip shifting, dropping from 7th to 5th. That happens. I've even seen experienced drivers do that same thing. I mean, people with decades of experience even miss shifts sometimes. Chillicothe, 36 miles. Alright, I got 5 mile on my trip C meter, so about 41 miles on that unless I reset it. In case you haven't noticed already, I have a pretty good variety of music I listen to. Not much a fan of country music though, put it that way, but I like a lot of 80s and 90s rock, pop, dance, whatever, hip hop, R&B. Probably pull away from me in a second because my speed got up a little bit much and it's a 65 zone.
And the
good for reload yet. I'll let you know when I figure it out, though. Okay. This is why I got into the left lane, because it's a left turn to get over here to where Cloverfield is, or Cloverleaf, whatever. Industrial park over here. There'll be a right turn coming up pretty soon, and then it'll be down the street, right on the other side of railroad tracks. Cloverleaf, you just go straight ahead and then we'll turn right. Basically where that car just came out of over up the road here. Not sure my dash cam really shows them very well, but because it's one thing with dash cams is they're designed to show stuff from a wider angle, which means they're not so good at showing from like a tunnel vision view. They're set up to be wide enough where they can see everything around the front of your vehicle, but that comes at a cost of quality of tunnel vision. So it's pretty common where I can actually see things better, with my eyes, obviously, than the camera will be able to pick up, just because I have that tunnel vision view, plus I have detect things with my peripheral. Yeah, we have a set of train tracks here. Right about where that pickup right there is at now is where the customer is. Looks like it might be. I don't know. I do believe they have early train. I don't know about this. The lights all appear to be off, but they do have. I do see someone pulling in behind me. So I might need to go park it somewhere else and come back. As far as I know, they don't allow on-site parking. But I see a lot of trucks parked here. Alright people, we're all done here and ready to go. Don't have a reload yet, but that's okay. I only have 327 to work with. So I doubt I'll be getting anything today. So I'll just send my empty call in and head over to Casey's, which is an exit right, just that we passed on the way over here. 7/8 on fuel. Not a drop, but okay. So just got to verify my trailer's actually empty, and then off we go. Let's see what this yard truck is going to do first. Might be trying to put it in one of these spots over here. I'm going back up just in case. No. What? Alright. Guess we're good. Not sure why he was looking around over there. Not even in his seat, so good. Let's get my doors. Empty call in and get into off-duty driving mode. Get the hell out of here. Trailer ABS light on. Good here, maybe from bouncing or something, I don't know. Lights on the trailer too. I'll just reset it. Try resetting it when I get to Casey's, because I should also figure out where that trailer washout place is. A lot of times trailer ABS lights you can, or even ABS light indications at all, a lot of times you can fix by just shutting off the truck for a few minutes and shut off the truck for a few minutes and restart it. Because sometimes it's just a little glitch or whatever, or sometimes it's from maybe a tire skipping. Like maybe one brake locks up, but another one doesn't. When the transducers on the wheels spin at different speeds, I notice it does that. So it's usually the first thing I do is just try to reset it manually. Reset it by doing that first, and if it doesn't go away, then start looking at other causes, like maybe a loose or disconnected pigtail connection, or maybe something else like like electrical problem on the trailer itself or whatever. If the easy stuff doesn't fit, can't change it, for me, then of course I'll just take it to the truck stop with the repair shop, whatever, and have them take a look. But 9 times out of 10, I do notice that just shutting off the truck for a minute or playing with the pigtail connection sometimes will fix the majority of those kind of problems. Right here off this exit. Jay's Burger Dive. Plus, I've always got one of my favorites here, Dairy Queen. Plenty of parking here. Albeit dirt. Having a hard time seeing through these signs here. The right lane's open, but the left lane is not. Oh, here I can go now. But I need both lanes. To keep my tandems where I need them to be, I have to use, at least put my tractor in that left lane for a little bit. There, good. I'm just getting a little bit too far away from this guy. On this muddy surfaces like this, a lot of times you might find yourself needing to use your interaxle differential lock. There's normally only one axle drives your your truck. But on this, sometimes you get maybe one of your drive tire or your drive axle will spin or something. Alright, people, it didn't take long at all. Shortly after I sent my message into my DM to let them know, to ask them see if there was anything going on in Laredo or something. I'm trying to get through the neighborhood of Leander, Texas, to drop something off with somebody, but they don't have anything around here that goes that way. But it's all right. But it didn't take long at all. The planner here already gave me a load. It's already ready to go too. It picks up tonight, tomorrow morning, at the Tyson plant in Olathe, Kansas, which we passed through on the way up here on that last with that other load. And that one's going to Tyson, Arizona, which is right by Phoenix. So pretty much the same route. Taking the same route back the way we just came up from. So it'll be highway I-35 down to Wichita again, and then US 54 across over to Tucumcari, and I-40 and I-17. Stop at the truck wash that's right by I-35 when I get on there from Highway 36. Get washed out there and then go pick my load up and probably just go find somewhere down in that area, maybe Ottawa, like the Loves in Ottawa or somewhere. If I have the time for it, enough time on my clock to get there. Just finish my day there and then wait for my recaps to roll in. where the truck wash is right here at this truck stop. I've been to this one before, I just forget that I had a washer with it. Yep. Wide open too, perfect. Spot me in. The washout. Morning.
Morning.
Just need a washout.
Just need a washout. All right, pour on it.
Okay. Where you want my back in?
Oh, I'll stop you.
Alright. Sure it'll be by one of these grades. Yeah, that's right about where I expected he'd want me to stop. Paid for, we've already driven about 37 miles. Okay, we're ready to roll. I've driven 37 miles since we left. So should be right in the neighborhood of about 80 more miles to get to Olathe. I know we were like in a low 50 range or something to, you know, the exit number here off of 35. So it should be about 50 of those miles here in Missouri, and then the last maybe 30 or so in Kansas before we get there. Storm passing through. Radar looks like it's about half.
I'll tell you what, if it's raining, I'll never go out through there again. I'll take go out Blacktop across Broadest-span. I'll charge for it.
I can't tell what side I need to be on.
Yeah, they're shining.
Oh, left. Okay.
I'm fucking with it too.
Now, the Weather Channel alert says the rain should clear up by 11:30, but by then I'll already be down there. It did look like it's not that huge a storm, so it seems a bit right. Look at a pretty nice strong blast of rain hitting Kansas City.
Hey, just a whole hell of a lot I don't get paid for.
Flashing red light, I gotta stop.
Well, that's it, I don't mind that. I do like the Kingdom City being a deal. Hell, I had 2 or 3 loads. I picked up Kingdom City, went down. started down there and come through Kingdom Center. I'll get all figures out.
Alright, 54 miles to get to...
Yeah, this goddamn car up here thinks it's got a stop. Fuck you on them. Never think you'll get my own tomorrow.
Be getting some pretty strong rain here in a second, possibly. It's right here in Liberty. Raining conditions. These guys all follow so close, too close to each other. There's plenty of space like this. I mean, it's hard to see as it is, and then just imagine if something goes wrong right there in front of you. Are you going to be able to react to it and slow down on time without losing control of your truck? Or smashing into them. Same situation, same rule actually applies to four-wheelers too. right here is what I was talking about earlier, where if you overturn here, it's can be deadly for you. We're about to get out the freeway here, Highway 169. The Tyson plant we're going to is right off of 169 here in Olathe.
I don't understand why you have to always be gone. I get along, but the trips always feel so long. I find myself trying to stay by the phone because your voice always tells me that I feel so alone, but I feel like an idiot. Working my day around the call, and I pick up, I don't have much to say, so I want you to know it's a little that I'm stuck here waiting. At times debating, telling you that I've had it with you and your career. Me and the rest of the family here singing Where'd You Go?
Yeah, 169 south across the road here. I was trying to find a sign for 169 south, which street it was here. If I needed to make a left or go straight ahead. I figured it was a left. Yeah, I see it over there on the light post. I'll definitely be ready for a nap and being done with this shift. Didn't sleep the greatest last night. A lot of the time I just spent there laying down trying to sleep but not. Look for 159th Street. That'll be a right turn. It's at 154th right here, so about 5 blocks down. I've been to this place before, just once. adventure. I guess it's that light right up the road here. I do remember it being a controlled intersection. Yeah, this is indeed 159's coming up. Be a right turn here and then a left turn into their lot. Okay, now I gotta be wary of what's on the other side of this turn here. I got the right amount of space here, but I need to know how wide the street is over there too. Perfect width here. Tracked just perfectly. Alright, right up here on the left is the entrance to the guard shack. Go all the way up to the gate. Check in. Drop hook. Semi-arrival call. 11:05 at 11:12 local. Trailer 7144. Vest on. Go check in. Oh, unlock my tandems. There we go. There we go. Alright, now we're good. Come on. As soon as my brakes release. Good. Trans Am. You're not going for 311, are you? I'd hope not. You're set up like complete crap for it if you are. come back, Trans Am. I'm going to be parking back and dropping my trailer too. I'll go for 311. They normally want us to back our trailers in on that road to the right, but what's good doing? I like to go, but problem is he's in part of my setup space. I don't want to confuse him and make him think I'm up to something else. This rate, I don't think he can figure out what he wants to do. Or maybe he's really concerned about what I'm doing and is afraid to move. See, since my tandems are all the way back, I'm going to have to go 2 full spots past my desired spot before I start backing in, or before I start my setup. Now here's the problem with steering right when you're backing. See how his tandems are stuck way out in the lane? He's not, I mean, because the setup was junk, it's he's not allowing his trailer to roll back toward his spot, into his hole. So now his tractor's trapped out there on the far end too. I'm not gonna burn up my on-duty time watching him. Maybe you get up here and I'll see if you want some. You want a spotter? You want me to spot?
I'm still on fire.
God, that woman's backing habits are atrocious. Steering in all the wrong directions. Looking in the wrong directions. Wait for this bomb truck to go by. Is he going to be a problem now? Wait for the yard dog to go by. Rotated my drive tires. Get my okay, so this Trans Am driver here said I guess the woman was told to drop it in the other row, but the other row was full, which figured was going to be the case. Alright, which way are you going, yard dog? Anyway, yeah, the woman was doing everything possible wrong, it seemed. Her window was up. She had her seatbelt on. She was moving the complete opposite direction and steering in the complete opposite direction every time, it seemed. So, when she should have been in a, let's say, I was trying to help, give her a suggestion to maybe, I mean, because the problem was she was having a hard time getting her trailer in there. That was a bad angle. But part of the problem there is her where she got her drive tires. She got her drive tires too far off to the right side of her spot, and her tandems were, her trailer was already perfectly centered in the hole. It was just the move she was making was causing her tractor to go off to the right side of the hole, which was, as you go backwards, going to make your trailer track toward the left. Because now the drive tires are further off to the right than the tandems are. So basically the trailer's angled to the left. As far as relative to the spot is concerned. There was one point in there I was trying to suggest to her, steer one direction, and then she'd steer the complete opposite direction. Let's say go forward. She should have been steering one way, but she actually steered the. Really want to take up a spot here, a trailer spot, but kind of slim pickings here, and I need to check in though. We'll be looking for trailer 6561. Get the seal number real quick and get everything prepped for when I leave. $1,030 cases. Yep, same as what I was expecting. That weight actually looks lower though. Sorted chicken load. JCT trailer behind me is not mine. Let's see. Did see another one on this road that was not mine too. Several JCTs here, but none of them are mine. Probably gonna be another row. $279 over here on the other side. Well, does not look like it's in this row. surprised if it's in that section where I dropped my empty. That's not it. What's this one here? No, that's not it either. Wait a minute, I see a 6567. Oh, there it is. 6561, right where the person doing inventories is at. Yeah, he's moved. Feel the trailer a little bit. Good. Wouldn't mind having a little more pressure on my load gauge though. Tells me the landing gear is popping out all the way off the ground. Okay, we are ready to scale our load, but it looks like we're going to have a little fun trying to get out of here. So I got to get my get my trailer past this other one. I have a pretty good feeling I'm going to need to do a jackknife turn once I'm out to clear this teal colored Peterbilt over there across from me. I'll wait till he's hooked up. Drag my trailer this way a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to make it out of this spot. That should be good. Just have to do some more jackknifing to get it out of here. Okay. tandems are all the way back, but I'm just going to go ahead and scale it like they are right now. When I get my my scale ticket, or once I get my weights, I can always slide my tandems now, however many holes I need them to, once I'm out of the way here. Well, surprisingly, so I got 11,960, 34,760, and 29,7. So my drives are a little bit overweight, but not by much. It'll only take a foot of moving to get them under, to get them to about 34,000. So I can really, let's see. So every foot, I'm going to add 750 pounds to my tandems when I do slide them. So, let's see. Yeah, I should have plenty of room to work with there. My tandem's all the way back. I got to worry about what it's going to take for them to clear those two barriers over there by the fire hydrant. So it'll come a little further out than normal. So this reefer, for some reason, wasn't turned on. The product was actually at the temp it was actually set to, but it's tight here. Watch for. I don't like where my tandems are at though, they're way over there. Anyway, my load's supposed to be at -5, but it was set for +20, and the product was at +20, so the guard told me to just come back in and wait till it gets down to closer to -5, or at least in the ballpark where it's supposed to be, and then come back over to the gate. I guess this gives me an opportunity to slide my tandems where I want them now. slide his too. I don't know. That's good. I don't need to move them that much. One to slide his tandems. I got him now. Alright, my product temp is down at about 7 degrees now, so I think by the time I get to the guard shack, it'll be within the plus or minus 10 of what it's supposed to be. Tandems are now 41.5 feet mark and should definitely scale good now. Looks a lot better. 11, 9, 20, 31, 8, and 32, 680. Figured he was probably doing his Qualcomm stuff. Departure calls and we're out of here. Shouldn't take long at all. 11:05, 12:17. Say -5, that's what he said it was. I-35 that way. Of course, someone has to be coming the other side now. I already know my weights are good, so I can always wait till I get to wherever I plan to stop to do the cat scaling. get to the Loves and Ottawa before I run out of time. I got 30 miles to go and 36 minutes to do it in. Should be doable. Doesn't matter if I still have to do a post trip or scale or anything, because I only have to stop driving by the time my 70-hour clock expires. I can still do anything on duty, even with the expired clocks. I just can't drive unless I have, unless they're all in the positive. Minutes left on my 70-hour clock, and we'll have to wait for my recap to roll in to continue. There's plenty of spots open over there, which I would expect at this hour. Just got to do the formality of getting a Catskill ticket. This end guy could have done a U-turn setup. He'd rather blindsided in though. Maybe I should show him how to do a U-turn setup. I'm not gonna mess with these guys.
It's all good.
You can go by if you want. You want to go back first, or you want me to go back first?
Back in, John Kirshner.
Try to get my tannin for a little more in the middle of the lane. Come on. That's it for the day. 4 minutes left on my clock. And so it's only 12:56. I'm gonna have to sit for more than 10 hours and wait for my recaps to roll in before I can do anything. So, all right. As usual, hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Hope you got some good, at least something of value out of it, if anything. So, all right. Stay tuned for next episode.